Welcome back to From the Scriptwriter's Table. I'm David Lucas, president of Winding Trails Media, and we've been talking about the difference in writing for the audio medium. The last couple ones we just talked about was the absence of the visual aspect, and I'm going to look at my notes. The one before that was talking about the audience for audio plays and how it's different than television and screenwriting, movie screenwriting, as well as a theater. Today we're going to open up a toolbox and talk about what you need not only as an audio writer, as an audio play writer, but this applies to other forms of writing. Now, I chose toolbox term for a reason. I'm going to get into that. But before I do, normally I don't care what I'm wearing when I record these, but I'm going to share this with you. That's right. I'm sharing this is supposed to be an original book cover of the novel Dracula. Now, whoa, sorry about that. There we go. Let's see if we can stop it shaking. Why am I bringing this up to you? Who cares, right? The reason I care is I would like to challenge you or invite you. It's not a challenge. I want to invite you. I believe you can find this on YouTube. Look for the radio drama of Dracula. Orson Welles, back in the day, if you don't know who he is, you got an education. And I wish I could be in your spot when you first listen to him do his roles, because hearing something you really love for the first time is an amazing experience. So, if you haven't heard him before, tune in. If you have heard him before, have you ever heard him do Dracula? He started a new theater play back, I don't know when it got started. And originally he was going to do Jekyll and Hyde as their first theater, and he decided against that. He decided almost last minute, and he sat down, spent, as the story goes, I believe 24 hours with writers, and they sat in a diner and just worked their tails off to adapt Bram Stoker's Dracula for audio play. And I think it's one of the best plays he did. So if you can find it, I believe you can find it on YouTube. It is an objectively good lesson in how to write audio dramas, how it can be performed, and hey, it's a fun listen. If you want to wait till Halloween to do it, that's fine. It's one of my two favorites I like to play during the Halloween season. The other one, if you can find it, is Frankenstein. I don't think that had Orson Welles, if I remember, but it also was a great adaptation of a novel into radio form. Okay, time to bring this back. I talked about Toolbox. If you've ever read Stephen King's On Writing, he talks about how every writer has a toolbox that they create and that they need this toolbox. Okay, I'm going on a limb. I am not a super Stephen King fan. I admire what he's been able to do, and I did love his book on writing for assistance with understanding the writing process. It is a memoir. I suggest reading it. I really got a lot out of it, and if you haven't read it, you probably will as well. But he talks about toolbox, and that's something which I've always used that term of ever since I read that book. This is where I put all of my tools as a writer into, how I figure out my names of characters, how I go about editing, plot styles, you name it. And for me, it's a huge Excel spreadsheet. But the toolbox itself goes beyond that. And this is going to be part one of probably about 6 or 7 episodes. But the toolbox is also knowing how to write the style or the medium in which you are writing. And it's before audio is different. When you write a book or you write a screenplay or a stage play, you have a certain amount of time that you can play and get the audience immersed into your story. Now, I'm having to walk a line when I explain that to you, because the amount of time that you have is short on that. Okay? It's longer than an audio play. You have to get the audience's attention like that. And to give you an idea, if you consider one-page script in audio to be a minute, which is kind of the average, and that's with computers, we can always change fonts. So let me put this in exactly the picture that you want. 12-point font, Courier New. Looks like a typewriter. And if you want to see what goes into the formatting, go to windingtrailsmedia.com. Look at calls for scripts, and there's a link. There's 2 links in there. One will take you to this great website that's a great resource on how to write audio plays. The other one is straight to a PDF from the BBC on the radio drama format. This time I'm going to recommend just go to the PDF and you can look at how the formatting works. But 1 page equals a minute of audio. You have half a page to get their attention, and that's typewriting. In your normal full-length page of a book in manuscript form, not published form, 8.5 by 11 setting, Times New Roman 12, you've got, and of course you can play Arial, whatever. Your average word count per page on a book is roughly 250 to 300 words. In the audio play, it's roughly 150 words per page. You have half a page to get the attention. So how do you do that? The first tool you need is understanding how to create a rapid getaway, a rapid start to your story. One of my favorites for the old times is Johnny Dollar. And if you go to the webpage I mentioned before and you go on About Us, you'll see me talk about Johnny Dollar a little bit. Some other ones that do it great are the old version of The New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. But Johnny Dollar, I'm going to really hit on. And that is every episode, especially if you find the Bob Bailey versions where he is Johnny Dollar, the 5 parts miniseries per week. It starts off with a phone call. And in that phone call, we have a brief voice-over introduction. And when I say brief, it's probably 2 sentences at the most. And then you have the character pick up the phone and you're immediately into the story. Great way to start it. Probably the time period in which that time on page that takes to get into it. Knowing how that's done, I'm going to say roughly that much. Maybe that much of a page. That's how fast it is to get into. Listen to the old Star Wars episodes. Yes, Star Wars was made into radio dramas. The New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Only those 3. There are other novels there are other books that have been turned into radio dramas that are Star Wars. I'm talking about the movies, and those were only 3, and they were written by Brian Daley in conjunction with LucasArts. They're a little different intro. It's similar to the movie in a lot of ways of how it starts off in every episode. You kind of get the idea of that scrawl of the introduction scroll of the introduction that you see in the movie. You get that in your mind in the radio dramas. But once again, it's brief, it's short. Listen to Dracula, I mentioned before. Go out there, listen to Shadow. Find old time radio dramas. Suspense is another good one. If you're into comedy, there's Burns and Allen. Fibber McGee. Fibber McGee is one I'm thinking of. Also, 2 is R. Miss Brooks. these are old-time radio dramas. You're going to hear a lot of that time period's point of view. Things have changed. Society has changed. But take a listen to how it's done. That's where I'm going with this. You want to hit the ground running, and that's not true. I'm sorry. That's not true. Think you're in this way as you're writing with Rapid Getaway. If you drive, have you ever been at a stoplight? And as soon as that light turns green, you slam on the gas. Your wheels are squealing. You're peeling out. You're leaving smoke in the air. That's how you need to be with the writing for audio plays. You need to capture the audience's attention very quickly. And you need to keep going, and you need to keep that attention. Okay, that's enough of this one. We'll talk about in the next episode. I'm sorry, yes, I've got a resource on the side here, which I've talked about in previous episodes. I'm going to show it to you here in a second. I'm going to talk about, in the next episode, writing for smaller casts. Okay, here's a resource that we're working on now. Yep, there we go. Handbook of Radio Writing by Eric Barnow. This is the old-time radio drama Bible on how to write for radio dramas. It's out of print. You can find it through interlibrary loan or used bookstores. Might be able to find it there as well. That's how I got my copy. Great resource. Going back a little bit, I talked about Stephen King on writing. After we get done talking about writing for the medium, I'm going to pull out the Stephen King of his day and go through his advice to writing audio plays. And his name was Arch Obler. I didn't mention him before in this about with going out to look for radio dramas. Now I am. If you can handle suspense and you can handle little horror, look up Lights Out, Everybody, or look up Arch Obler and look at all the plays he did. This man was prolific, and he knew his craft. And we're going to go talk about him in several episodes from now, and I'll build up to that. Okay. Before you leave, subscribe to the station. I'd greatly appreciate it. Check out windingtrailsmedia.com. Sign up for our newsletter. Get word on when we're looking for radio dramas. Right now, we're wide open. Look for when we're looking for cast. We're wide open at the time I'm filming this. Also, too, every month we hold a free social gathering, if you will, called the Scriptwriters Table, where writers can come. They don't have to be writing audio dramas, but hey, if you are, perfect place for you. But we come in and we talk about what we're writing, what problems we're having, try to bounce those ideas off each other. It's called the Scriptwriters Table. Go to windingtrailsmedia.com, click on the courses for writers, and then the second one down from there is the Scriptwriters Table. The first one is a list of all these, is the start of all these videos that you've been watching. All right. Have a great day writing. Tune in for the next episode. Take care.